Today we're going to talk about how this one purchase gets me out in the woods a whole lot more frequently. Coming up.
A bad day.
Yeah! Hey, I'm Drew and this is Evergreen Overland. On this channel we showcase 4x4 vehicle modifications, hone our outdoor cooking skills, and do reviews on camping and overland gear, a lot like the one you're going to see today. Let's face it, I didn't get into overlanding to rough it. And quite the opposite, actually. I've done my fair share of backpacking and camping throughout the years. What brought me to overlanding is the idea of being able to obviously explore and go as far as you possibly can go by vehicle-based travel off-road, but also so that you could have more capabilities carried on you at all times. At the same time, you want to be able to get to locations that people with larger campers and such can't really get to, but you don't want to sacrifice all the creature comforts. You want to have some of those, which pretty much leads us to what we're going to be talking about today, which is the Wrapon Green toilet. Now, one of the questions that a lot of guys have when they're getting into overlanding and camping and exploring and adventuring is how to get their significant other and family out with them as much as possible. I prefer using wine and cooking really good food and giving first right of refusal to be the vehicle DJ to my wife whenever she wants it. Now, my wife, Kelsey, is an absolute trooper, so don't get me wrong. In fact, one of our first dates out was actually on a backpacking trip where we both had to use the facilities outside. And that seriously was one of the things at the very beginning where I'm like, okay, she's a keeper. The reality is it's way more a pain in the butt for a lady to use the outdoor facilities than it is a guy. This little cartridge toilet is straight out of Japan. This was created out of a need for more sanitary disposal after the tsunami and subsequent failure of the Fukushima plant in Japan. It's a pretty high-tech piece of kit. I'm gonna go set this bad boy up and I'll show you how it works. So in the back of the Tundra's truck bed organizer that I'm building right now, the Wrapon Green toilet's gonna have its own little cubby that I can slide it out, use it, slide it back in, strap it down. But up until that's ready, I've been using this little pop-up privacy tent as the portable station for the toilet outside of the vehicle. Yeah, I mean, you've seen these probably. Nice little door, some ventilation, and there you have the toilet completely set up. Really nice about these is they don't have a floor to them, so if you need to service anything, you just move that completely aside. So you've seen a lot of different style toilets on the market, everything from a bucket with a lid on it, putting a bag in there, to, you know, a cassette style toilet with the blue liquid in there. How this one differs from those is this utilizes a cartridge-based system where you're installing a roll of a 5-layer smell-proof and leak-proof bag. They're designed to fit all the parameters around how you'd need to handle medical hazardous waste. This thing's all aluminum construction and it's been powder coated with this awesome vibrant green color to it. So the lid just pops off with the little latches, and that gives you, the seat comes off for cleaning and for installing the actual bags. These are the bags right there installed. And it comes with a tool that helps you kind of seat them in there properly. You get about 50 flushes on this cartridge of bags, and it has a little countdown on the remote control that tells you approximately how many flushes you've used, as well as the bags have a red stop line that will expose itself once you've gotten to the point where you shouldn't go any farther. Now, this thing can operate on either AC power if you're in an emergency situation where you've lost water to the house or whatever that might be, or it could also operate on DC power, obviously your battery in your car. To operate on DC power, you will need to purchase the additional power supply cord that has the alligator clips to it, these bad boys right here. And they do have a battery that you can buy that's designed to be, you know, compact, really portable and everything like that. I believe it's a lithium battery, probably overkill, you know, using any battery that you have, even if it's just a little motorcycle battery, is going to be pretty sufficient for flushing this thing. But being that we're all vehicle based, we've got batteries galore, so you could just run your leads and supply power almost anywhere you need to around your vehicle. I'm pretty sure this thing is rated for like 350 pounds. It's super sturdy. I'm not worried about it at all. Try to set it on a flat surface, obviously, but you're not going to hurt it. At a little under $1,000 for the system, it's not going to be for everybody. But honestly, it is one of my favorite little pieces of kit. Obviously, the system has some consumables that you're going to need to make sure you have a little bit of backstock on. Along with the cartridges of the 5-layer film, you're also going to want to keep on hand and use every time one of these little coagulant powder packs. And this is just a little coagulant pack that helps any liquids gel. To bring you guys in for a little bit closer look on this thing. Now, if you tilt this toilet back, take out this bottom tray. Here's a little controller. It gets stored underneath when it's not in use. It's got a little piece of Velcro there. Now, this little underside plate acts as a cover for the bottom of this when you're stowing it away. You can take out this back support bar, fold these in, the support bar clips into here, and then that bottom cover goes over the whole thing to kind of keep it all tight and in that 18 by 18 by, I think it's 10.5 inch wide suitcase format that it comes in. This is that alligator clipped optional DC power with a little on-off switch on it. That I just store separately in my hygiene bag here. This is the DC power. I don't typically take this with me since I use this thing basically 100% of the time while camping and off battery power. So up until now, I'd completely close this thing up into its little suitcase form and tuck it away in the back of the truck. Once I get the organization system fully built, it's just gonna stay probably in this format, maybe with the bottom plate on it. But other than that, stay fully assembled so that I can, you know, not have to go putting it together every time I wanna use it. To get this thing fully plugged in, ready to use, plug in your alligator clip lead. Usually feed that out the back. Detach your control. Usually feed that out the side and set it on top of something. Flip it over, find level, and you're good to go. This obviously acts as a cover for the bottom, but it also acts as a nice little place to house the bags when they drop. So that's kind of nice. How this thing actually works that I forgot to mention earlier, it doesn't vacuum seal, but it heat seals the bag. It completely seals all 5 of those layers together and just makes it so it's, you know, pretty damn near impenetrable unless you're really stabbing it with something. Now that you've got the leads hooked up, something I will say is these little alligator clips are too small to grab onto any regular size battery. So I actually have these little bad boys that I keep in there with it. I can clip onto that and then I clip onto my main battery. This is all going to be wired into my truck pretty much permanently at some point here, so I'll do away with the clips completely and have some other sort of direct connection. But yeah, the clips are pretty small, so you need something to kind of bridge that gap so you can actually clip onto it. Now, when you plug this thing in, it's going to go through its startup procedure and kind of prime this, setting the bag up properly for use, as well as giving you a readout on the controller. So I'm going to set the camera up so hopefully we can see that best. You have power to it, you have in use, and it shows. You're not going to be able to see it. It's far too bright out here, but it shows 11, and that is how many uses this cartridge has had. All right, now I decided to put the tent back around it so it's not so bright out here and overexposed. Hopefully you'll be able to see this thing in action. You're going to take one of the coagulant powders, dump it in. Now you're going to want to do your thing. Sacrifice a protein bar. Maybe sacrifice a little LaCroix. Hold down the button. Sucks the bags down into it, pinching it off for the heater. And let go of the button at that point. From there you have about 2 minutes that it goes through its heat sealing process. Drops it out the bottom, then resets itself. Ready for your next use. Completely dry there. And you have your nice little packaged protein bar and fully coagulated LaCroix. Now, in my eyes, the Wrapon Green toilet is just more sanitary than a cassette toilet and just easier to deal with the unmentionables. You have to dispose of these along with your local guidelines and regulations, of course. Now, I'm no stranger and I don't hold it against you if you go out and you dig a hole. Good on ya. I've done it for years. But this thing just allows us to be a little bit more conscious of what we're leaving behind out in the woods, tread lightly, leave no trace, and all that good stuff. Now, biting the bullet and making the investment on this thing has definitely gone a long way in making it so that my wife, and I'll admit it, myself, are just that much more confident that if the need arises, we can do our business in comfort and security of our truck. Well, thanks for watching the video. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of how this Wrapon Green toilet has streamlined our camp chores and duties. Duties. If you end up purchasing one of these toilets and you want to follow the link below, that would be great. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, consider subscribing to the channel as well as hitting that like button to let me know I've done a good job. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section below. If you want to learn more about us, you can hit us up over on Instagram at EvergreenOverland as well as evergreenoverland.com. Thanks for watching.